Hello, I just wanted to create a short video to show you the new electrical panel schematic function in the MEPsketcher. Alright, so let's dive right into it. So I have a PDF and I have created a bunch of electrical components, assigned them all to a panel by creating circuits, and as you can see in the network panel, we've got all these circuits and we've got our panel. So you can check them out like this. You can change the load factor of the circuits if you like. So let me go ahead and change just one for demonstration purposes. And you can select the panel to see the entire network and all the elements that are connected to it. And when you select the panel, you can see that on the ribbon, we now have an open schematic button. So if you click this one, it will open up the schematic for this panel. So there we go. There's our panel. And as you can see, it generates all the circuits and it creates a circuit breaker. It shows the circuit name. It shows a default cable type and it tells you how many terminals are connected to the circuit. Then on the right, we have a totals table that will show the total amount of the capacity of the circuit. Over here, we have the load factor that we just edited, and then it calculates a concurrent total capacity. And then it divides it over 3 phases. With at the bottom, we have a totals for the entire panel. Now, I just changed the concurrency or the load factor on the circuit. And you can update this if you like. So for instance, if I have here another circuit that is the same, it has the same lighting offices, so it should have the same load factor. So if I go to this circuit, you can see its properties on the left. And if I change this to 80 as well, or change the name, so I could call this lighting offices number 2, for instance, and then go back to the schematic. Then we've got an update button, and if you click on the update button, it will retrieve all the information again from the circuits and update the names, the capacity values, and the load factors. All right, then on the left we have our circuit breakers. So you can select them and you can see that it is called a symbol. At the properties, you can rotate it, you can change the size, you can change the label. So if this has to be a C20, you can just change it and it will update. And you can also change the symbol by clicking on the change image button. And if you do that, then you can pick any of the other symbols that are on the left and it will swap it out with that symbol. So those are the normal circuit breakers. Then all the way on the left, we have our main circuit breaker or our main breaker. And this works just the same. These are all symbols that are placed and these are all lines that are placed. So it's a really basic panel schematic, but it gets all the info from the circuits that are on the PDF and generates this nice layout. Now you can add additional text or lines by using the line tool over here. So you can freely move the line, or if you hold the shift button, it will snap to incremental angles. And you can change their properties. It's really basic, so you can change the color or change the pattern. And then there's a text box, so you can place some additional text, whatever you like, some like more info on the panel. There we go. And everything can, of course, be dragged and moved and whatnot. All right, so, and you can also place the symbols over here directly on the schematic. So if you want to add anything, you can do that like so. And if it is if it is the first time that a symbol is placed, then it will ask for ports. And by setting these ports, you can set an in port and an out port, although it doesn't really matter. But these ports are used to place the elements in line with the circuit lines if they are generated automatically, and they function as snapping points. So after you have placed them in this dialog, you can click on the confirm button, and then this symbol will have ports as well. So if you now go to one of the circuit breakers that was placed automatically or generated when the schematic was opened, then you can click on the change image button. And when you do that, you can select any of these other images, and then it will replace the image for that symbol. And as you can see, it will use the port locations to place them in line with the circuit lines. So that is it in a nutshell. On the bottom, you have some more functions to snap to objects and to disable or enable the drawing snap, but you can also use that with the shift button. You can print it, and you can also change the size of the paper. So by default it's set to an A3 portrait, but you can change it if you like to anything else. So if the schematic is too big for an A3, then you can just select one of the other paper sizes. So this is really easy to modify to make sure that everything fits. And then as a final, you can see you can fill in the project name, description, etc., and other project info down here, and you can load in your own company logo if you like by double clicking over here on the logo, and then it will take you to a folder browser. And we've got our settings where you can set up certain default values for circuit breaker labels, the default symbols that you want to use for circuit breakers, for main breakers, and also pick a default company logo. Okay, great. Well, I hope this new schematic function is useful, and I would love to get some feedback on it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.